Hello, my name is Mohammed Ramal. I am a master's student in the course CIS 571002. Today I will be talking about my project called GeoRam. GeoRam is a lightweight web application used to provide step-by-step directions from a starting address to a destination address, along with destination weather, so that the user is prepared to handle what any conditions at the destination. This application consumes three external APIs. The first one being a Geocoder API, which basically consumes a destination or a starting address and returns geolocation data such as longitude and latitude. Um, that my second API will then consume, called the route API. So the route API will consume a starting coordinate and a ending coordinate and return route data along with time and distance. And lastly, my last API that I consume is the weather API. The weather API will take in a zip code and in return respond with weather data. Now, all three of these APIs are REST APIs, where the first two are of type JSON data, and the last one, being the weather, is of type XML. So now that that's done, I will take you through the functionalities of this application. So for starters, this application is built using Vue.js. It's a JavaScript single-page application. It provides a very modern and clean look, which I find is important when delivering an application to an end user. So, for example, for here, I give the user the chance to either get the distance and weather information in a metric or imperial format. Um, and I also integrated a validation across the website to ensure that no calls are made if any errors are present, or, for example, if the fields are empty. Um, so another neat feature here is if you don't want to provide, or you're not sure of the correct address, then it will provide matching options to kind of narrow down your search. So for example, if I just put in Windsor and I put in Dearborn and I hit validate route, I get any matching Windsor location. So for example, let's say I'm across the border and I select Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And here, my options for Dearborn are much less, but I select Dearborn, Michigan here. Then my route is confirmed. I then get the option to hit the get route button, and if I go ahead and click that, it will then process, and I get my route API is called along with the weather API, and this is the result I get formatted, properly displayed to the end user along with my trip information, which is also neatly presented. It's very simple, very modern. Here I provide the trip summary, so it takes 10.7 miles and an estimated of 20 minutes. Here you get the step-by-step directions along with the distance in imperial. Um, and once the destination is done, you'll be greeted with a arrival flag. For example, say I want to have this information be presented in the metrics, then I go ahead and hit metrics here. And as you can see now, I'm in degrees Celsius with a high and low, and in kilometers. You can see also the instructions have been reflected to be shown in the metric unit. If I would like to create a new search, it is simple. I just hit clear and I am ready to go again. So basically that sums it up. You get step-by-step directions. There's the option to get it in metric or imperial. There is validation throughout this website. There is recommended destination and starting addresses to narrow down your search. There's weather information. I believe that pretty much sums up the functionality when it comes to this web application. And then I will take you through the back end and the front end and show you where the magic happens. So for example, this is my web service project directory. I have divided the front end and back end, so you'll find the front end under UI. It's a UI module, whereas my back end is found under the source of the root directory. I do use Spring as my application framework and Java as my back end language. If I go through the front end, as you can see, it's my view. So this is my single page right here. So for example, if I want to get geocode data, I will do right here. So get geocoding API. I will take in the destination input, for example. And if I go to this call, return this, and I create a get request to my localhost backend service, and I also pass in the location. So if I was to go ahead and now find this in my code, I would go to my controller on my backend here. I would go to my GeoController. So if I go ahead and put these side by side, so if I put right here, so I am looking for geocode plus a location, and you can see on line 21 I have that right here, geocode location. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. What this will do is it's a get mapping. It will take in the path variable location right here. It will parse it into a string, and I will then pass it into my get geo method call in the service. So if I go ahead and click into this method right here, I will create a list of geocode objects. So this is my data object here that I will be returning to the front end. This is the URL of the API I will be hitting to get my geocode information. This is my app ID and app code. So this is what's going to authorize me to hit this external API. And this is my search text here. I will then initialize a REST template and do a get request. And what will happen is the response. So the way I parse my JSON is by creating this geocode response class. And what this will do is it will look for different JSON properties and parse it into these into this POJO, basically this plain old JavaScript, Java object. And what this will allow me to access the response properties through this Java object. And that's exactly what I do here. So I get the result. I will then create the object I want to return to the front end, as you can see here. So I'm returning latitude, longitude, the city, the state, the country, postcode, country label, and I use the builder to construct this geocode object. And what I do is I loop through all the possible matches. So as you saw when I did the demo, Windsor had many matches. So that's what I do. I go through the list of results here that I get, and I then I parse that into a geocode object and add it to this geocodes array and return it back to my front end to show, basically. And that's pretty much, to sum it up, that's pretty much how my front end interacts with my back end, and hence the back end interacts with the external APIs. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please feel free to email me at any time. I will be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you.